What's going on, y'all? My name is Alex, and today we're going to do a reaction towards the Ringers top 100 players in the NBA. To be honest, I have not seen any of the players yet. I did see something on Twitter about Julius Randle, and I think we're going to see that first. So let's just get right into it. All right, so before we do start, I do want to say I looked at the beginning and it was talking about how they are actually going to be updating this list. So this was made on December 14th. I'm looking at this list now on December 19th. So this list can change. So definitely go check this out. I think this is a very interesting concept. Shout out to the Ringer, but we're going to look at their list right now. And right now, one thing I will say is when we get around like this 100 spot, like I'm not going to argue about people being either 100 or 95. I think the gap between those guys are not going to be very big. Right now, they have DeAndre Hunter as the 100th best player in the NBA. I guess I got no problems with that. All right. I don't have any strong feelings towards him. Derek White at 99. Shout out to Derek White. Grant Williams. He just keeps getting better as well. Kelly Olynyk, 97. Sure. Tobias Harris at 96. Now, I guess we'll see as we go along. This seems a little bit too low. I understand that, outside of scoring, he doesn't really offer much, at least on the defensive end and in playmaking. But I think that on its own, he definitely helped the 76ers when they had Embiid, Maxey, and Harden out at the same time. They really didn't fall off a cliff all that much. Just based off that, I think I may have him a little bit higher. But if we're just looking at the player, I guess. Valanciunas 94. I like that. I like that a lot. Kyle Lowry at 93. One of a kind problem solver. I don't know if that title for Kyle Lowry holds up right now currently because he definitely isn't the same guy he was in the Raptors. Cam Johnson at 92. Now, to be honest, I'm actually surprised to see Cam Johnson here at 92 because he has been injured a good portion of the season, still is going to be missing a couple more games at the time that I'm recording this. So, personally for me, like if you're injured for that long, I really don't know where you would be ranking. I actually wasn't expecting them to be on this list. But again, if we're just thinking about the player, not considering injuries, then I guess this is a fine spot. Okay. So, like I said before, I saw that there's something about Julius Randle. I didn't know what. Julius Randle 91 is nasty. Let's read the description that they have here. They have aspiring creator who has yet to come to terms with how his strengths best serve a winning team. Is this list just a Julius Randle hate article? Because, you know, I, I'm the first to admit, not the biggest Julius Randle fan, but it's hard to deny that even though last season he was not that great, especially since the year prior, he had made the All NBA team and he was really good for the Knicks. Like he became a really good three-point shooter, a really good defensive player, good playmaker, good scorer, just overall like really good player. And he took a huge step back last season, but I think he's getting back to those old ways. Still not to the All NBA level, but still, a borderline all-star player. And if you're telling me that Julius Randle, a borderline all-star player, is ranked 91, I have a hard time believing that. Now, I know our league is filled with very talented players, but I think as we go along, I think this Julius Randle pick is going to look really bad. So let's just keep moving. Benedict Mathurin. So we're saying a rookie is better than Julius Randle. I think we also have to take into account that defensively, I think Randle is just better than Mathurin. And Mathurin has been really good. He's been coming off the bench, averaging pretty much 20 points a game. So, and I think Julius Randle hasn't beat on points per game stature. I think the efficiency is like okay enough for it to beat Mathurin there in terms of scoring. Julius Randle is just better than Mathurin. I don't know what else to say. Norman Powell, again, I think Julius Randle is just better than him. I do like Norman Powell though. Is his name just Norm Powell, or are they lazy? What's going on with that? I thought his name was Norman, not Norm. Nikola Vucevic, Julius Randle is better than Nikola Vucevic, dog. I don't know what else to tell you. And again, we have Alex Caruso at 86. I love Alex Caruso, but there is no way you can tell me that as a player, Alex Caruso is better than Randle. Jordan Clarkson, again, I think Julius Randle is just better. Jalen Green, this is actually surprising to see Jalen Green this low. I thought he'd make a little bit more of a jump. Jordan Poole, yeah, Jordan Poole I thought would also make a jump as well, but he hasn't really been doing great. Kyle Kuzma's been really good, averaging 20 points a game. He's in trade discussions to go back to the Lakers. It's obvious that he is a very good asset at this point. Mike Conley, I think I would personally take Kuzma over Conley, but when Conley went out with his injury, the Jazz definitely started to fall back down to earth. But Conley was a huge part in the Jazz actually being very good. And then once he got injured, the Jazz kind of fell back down. So I like this Conley at 81, but I still think Julius Randle is better. Wendell Carter Jr. Again, I think Julius Randle is better. Malcolm Brogdon, I just again I think Julius Randle's a borderline all-star player. So if you're gonna tell me that Malcolm Brogdon, Wendell Carter are borderline all-star players, I just don't think you're being truthful. I don't think you're being truthful. I'm sorry I keep harping on this, but that Julius Randle, he was at 91. We're at 79 right now. So this is a pretty bad ranking just off the Julius Randle. But in terms of everything else here, again, like I said, I'm not going to argue like Malcolm Brogdon over Wendell Carter, even though I do believe that. But if they had those switched around, I honestly wouldn't care. Aaron Gordon, Clint Capella. I'm just gonna keep going until we find someone who is better than Julius Randle. Scotty Barnes, I think Julius is better. CJ McCollum, I think Julius Randle's better. Devin Vassell, I I think Ju I'm sorry, I just scrolled a little bit too far. I wanted to talk about Devin Vassell, who I think is a very underrated player. I think he's definitely turned into a solid player that I think the Spurs need to keep for the long term. Definitely a player to keep in their rebuild, but. Oh my gosh, Kyrie Irving at 66? What are we doing? Now, Kyrie Irving is better than Julius Randle. So if we wanted to keep their list how it was, Julius Randle, I think, should be at 67. I think Julius Randle should be at 67, not 91. So there's that. But Kyrie Irving at 66, let's see what they have to say. Devastating offensive presence who wows with his shot making and ball handling, though defensive limitations, injuries, and off court decisions have tarnished his value and reputation. Now, look, I am not a supporter of what Kyrie Irving does off the court. Let me get that out of the way. But if we're going to take into account his off court stuff for how good of a basketball player he is, to me, this is just unfair. It's unfair for Kyrie Irving. Not that he cares about this list, but just from a fan perspective, this is just unfair to hold Kyrie to such standards. Because again, he is a devastating offensive presence, and that alone should rank him higher. But the fact that we're taking into account the off-court decisions, I think that's just unfair. And again, they're bringing up injuries, right? We can go back to that Cam Johnson ranking. He's missed games. So again, if we're going to take injuries into account, I don't think Cam Johnson should be on this list. He was so close to being, outside of the top 100. So if you're going to take injuries into account, I think he would definitely go down maybe 5 or 6 spots, and that would take him out of the top 100. So I think that they're just being a little bit inconsistent here. If we wanted to just keep it basketball, I think his offense alone, I think that would put Kyrie in a top 30 discussion. We'll get there. When we get there, we'll see where Kyrie Irving ranks based off their list. But I just think this is unfair. This is definitely unfair. Defensive limitations for sure, though. I definitely get that. I think that is what's definitely going to hold him back from maybe cracking the top 20. But again, let's see when we get there. But Julius Randle, way too low. Kyrie Irving, way too low and the reasons why he's this low are just unfair and they're inconsistent. So let's move on. Tyler Hero 65. Are we gonna is Tyler Hero really better than Kyrie, bro? Oh my God. All right, let's just keep going. Kyrie and Julius Randle are better than Miles Turner. Robert, again, I hate repeating myself, but when we're going to take into account that Kyrie Irving is injury prone, why is Robert Williams on this list? He hasn't played a single NBA game as the day I'm recording this. He is on his way to return, but there's just no way that Robert Williams should be on this list if we're going to take into account injuries, because that's what they just did with Kyrie Irving. They talked about how he's injury prone, right? Because that can impact his actual value to the team because he's not on the floor. Robert Williams has not been on the floor. So what are we talking? It doesn't make any sense to me. And again, they put when healthy, he makes Boston virtually unbeatable. If we were really going to do this, if we're really going to say that when he's healthy, we need to do the exact same thing for Kyrie Irving. It's just being inconsistent. Inconsistency. Michael Porter Jr. is also a guy who's missed games. This is a guy, if we want to talk about defense, because they wanted to talk about the limitations to Kyrie Irving, Michael Porter Jr., even though he's a starter and he's a freaking scorcher of a scorer, especially next to Jokic and Jamal Murray, there's times where he's going to get outplayed to the point where they got to put in Bruce Brown and they'll have KCP as well, and Michael Porter Jr. is not on the court. For that reason alone, I think Kyrie Irving is better. Again, just inconsistencies. Cade Cunningham, he's out for the entire season. So there's just no way that Cade Cunningham should be better than Kyrie and Julius Randle. There's just no way. Marcus Smart has been great as well. I do not think he's better than Kyrie. Let me just scroll through a little bit to see if maybe we can find a spot for okay, you know what? I think I would put Julius Randle. I put Julius Randle right here. I put him in between LaMelo Ball and Jared Allen. And again, another thing with LaMelo Ball, he's been out majority of the season, so why is he not lower? Especially since we wanted to bring injuries up with Kyrie. Jamal Murray, I think LaMelo Ball is better than Jamal Murray. It would be funny to say that maybe they put LaMelo under Jamal because LaMelo's missed games. That's probably why they did it. But again, it's just inconsistent. I think so far, other than the Julius Randle pick and the Kyrie Irving pick, I think the list has been pretty good. But other than that, I think there's just some inconsistencies. Desmond Bane, I love the Desmond Bane love. Um, wow. Kawhi at 30. All-time winner and two-way monster who would easily crack the top 10 of any NBA ranking if his body allowed it. So again, they're taking injuries into account, but for some players, it seems like they're taking it into account for the star players. But when we get to the point where we have, just role players, they don't really take that into account, which is very interesting to me. I wonder why they do that. And I'm assuming they probably did it for Desmond Bane as well, because he has been missing a lot of games with a toe injury. Yeah, Chris Middleton, another guy who's missed a lot of games. Why is he not lower? I'm, I'm being honest, man. I don't get that. Brandon Ingram, another guy who's missed games. I think LeBron is way too high. When you just think when you look at LeBron's counting numbers, sure, he's averaging like 25 points a game, but assist numbers are down, rebounds are down. His shooting efficiency has fallen off a cliff, and defensively, he is just not even close to what he could potentially even be. And to hold him to those high standards, I agree, is unfair because of his age, but it doesn't matter because he's still not producing to what I think Ja Morant is doing, what I think Booker, SGA, Pascal Siakam, Zion, Donovan Mitchell, Lillard's missed games. Even Tyrese. Like I would say LeBron is probably going to be in like this 15 to 20 range, but number 9, I think it's just a little bit too high. AD, I think AD should definitely be over LeBron. So I'm happy that they made that choice. AD might be a little bit too low. At this point, we might get a little bit nitpicky. I think AD is better than Joel, and again, Joel has missed games. So why have we not taken that into account? Luka at 4. I would have him at 4. Jokic at 3. I'm good with that. And then with Giannis and Steph, I'm fine with having Giannis at 1, but I think just for this season, I think Curry has been the best player. But Curry is going to be out for a couple weeks at this point, so that will probably knock him down to the 2 spot, as time goes on, and Giannis will probably reclaim that number 1 spot. But yeah, I'm fine with that. I think personally, I would just have Curry at 1 though, and that's gonna be the top 100 list for the Ringer. Let me know what y'all think down below. My main gripes with this is I think Julius Randle is way too low. I think they are just hating on him at that point. He's an aspiring creator. It sounds like me. I'm an aspiring creator. That's why I'm making this video. That they're making Julius Randle sound like he's a guy who just came into the NBA and like he's trying to be like an MVP candidate and he just can't be. And going back to the Kyrie Irving pick as well, I think not only are they underrating his offense a little bit, maybe overblowing his defensive impact because again, Tyler Hero is right next to him. Tyler Hero is not a good defender either. And Kyrie is by far a better offensive player than Tyler Hero. They bring up the defensive limitations, which I'm fine with. Then they bring up the injuries, and as we went on throughout the list, you could see the inconsistencies. There were players who have missed a majority of the season who are ranked way higher than him. I think he should definitely be around those guys as well. And to bring the off-court stuff, I just don't think that's fair. Yes, it has taken him off the court, the Ringers just not keeping the same standards for all these other players, talking about limitations on defense or even offense at that case, injuries as well. And again, off court, I think that's just unfair to hold him to those standards if we're just strictly talking about basketball. But those were really my only gripes. Kyrie Irving is too low, Julius Randle too low, some inconsistencies in the list. But again, let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. Make sure you guys like and sub if you enjoyed. Check out my socials down in the description below. And you can check out the video somewhere here on the screen where I predict some of the All-Stars for the Western Conference. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.